On the discussion of moving the elections back to November, I've been a big proponent of doing that to save the $100,000, but I listened to your committee, the video recording, and I heard Dr. Lehman's comments. So we will bring it to the Finance Committee and have a detailed look at it, because once we move to November, we have to stay in November for 4 years. Mm-hmm. Anything that could, that could impact our finances in the coming year, based on whatever Dr. Lehman said, our only opportunity to go at that. Like you said, in November, we could address that year or the next year, but we would have to be prepared in advance in November. So this November is not a question, because we're not going to have an election this November. So if we need anything for next year's 2025, 26 budget, April is a chance to look at it. So I think what we would like, Ms. Allen, is to have some deliberations in Finance Committee as to what is it looking like. Whatever changes that are out there, whatever Dr. Lehman talked about in that meeting, and then make a decision. Thankfully, we have enough time.
Yes.
We have 3 weeks.
3
in April. No, we've got to give it 3 weeks before the date of elections.
Yes. So in April of 2025, yes, we would have to notify the clerk that we would want to move the election to November. Yes.
Right. So we have enough time, and we should use the next few months to really take our time to deliberate on what our district needs. Whatever we did this year, I want to reiterate that $100,000 was very well spent. We did spend extra $100,000, but we were able to continue our programs as is without any cuts. And I know there are 7,000 students that are thankful for it. So we should definitely take the time to deliberate on it. Thank you.
And I do just want to say that one thing we found out, and I know you and I have discussed this ad nauseum, is that what's the town near us that did it? Robbinsville. They actually submitted a second question, like an additional spending question in March. So I was curious how that happened, because I know we had discussed that the 2 opportunities are usually for additional spending, not for like a referendum for building, or April, November. But I guess that is not an option I would want to pursue, because it has the same cost as having an April election, but it is there. It doesn't necessarily, it just means that there is less of a reason for us to be required to maintain that April. If we have that option, then it takes away the need for that as well. And then I also, I think we briefly discussed this in the committee. I don't know if, I don't want to put Mr. Gagliardi on the spot, but I might do it anyway. I know that when we had discussed the election switch last time, one of the things that came up was that you cannot move an election up because it would shorten the terms of board members, and there had been legal action. But I wanted to just confirm that I was remembering that correctly, and if there was any other information. Oh, I get to share my microphone with you. Here we go.
So the short answer is correct, which is why the first time that if you move the election would be to move April of 2025 to November of 2025, and that was, to Ms. Boer's point, once you do that, you're staying there for 4 years. So that is perfectly lawful. As far as the question you raised about making sure if you're having a November election, there's flexibility if necessary to raise additional funds through a special question placed before the public. You said Robbinsville did it in March. So you would have 4 dates during the calendar year when you can do that if it was necessary. I believe it's the 4th Tuesday in January, 2nd Tuesday in March, 4th Tuesday in September, and 2nd Tuesday in December. You still have the availability to do that.